Obviously, today has been full of emotions. But one thing that we have within this body is diversity amongst our own occupations. We have former prosecutors, we have judges, we have defense attorneys, we have detectives, we have former correction officers. We had a person that was an incarcerated person who can give an inside vantage point of what it's like within our correction facilities. I can tell you right now, I actually owe that person an apology because I have a slight fear of prisons. And when I became an attorney, the first time I ever walked into a holding cell to meet one of my clients, when I heard that clank behind me, I cannot explain to you the chill that vibrated down my spine. And I owe him a visitation to one of our facilities in my district, and I've been hesitant because of this personal fear I have of the 1 or 2 times I have been inside of one of our state and county prisons. What we have to understand is just because someone's an incarcerated person does not mean they have lost their humanity. Yes, they might have done something wrong, but that does not mean they do not deserve a second chance. And which that means, as our colleague said, just like our correction officers have the right to go into their day of work and go home, so do the incarcerated individuals within those buildings have the right to serve their time peacefully in a manner where they can feel safe and can be rehabilitated and then still have that option to go home. If we do not create a safe environment to allow them to go home, then we have failed as an entity and as a legislature in doing so. They are not any less of a New Yorker. They are not any less of a human being. They are not any less of a person because they committed a crime when they might have been younger. And one example I give, I know I use pop culture and movies, but in Shawshank Redemption, Morgan Freeman's character is in his last parole, and he asks him, "Are you sorry for what you did?" And he says, "Son, if I could talk to the young person, he was dumb. He made a mistake. But that young man then, 40 or 50 years ago, and the man sitting in front of you now are 2 different people." So we have to understand that if we create a safer environment within our judicial system, within our corrections facilities, we are not just making it safer for the correction officers, we're making it safer for the incarcerated individuals. So we can let our emotions go to the side right now and ask ourselves the very simple question, what is your humanity? And your humanity should be, we need these to be safer and better places. In full reality, the more prisons that we can close means we're doing something right. That means our education system is getting better. That means our social network, our social safety nets are getting better, because if we create more prosperity, if we create more jobs, better education, I promise you that jail population will go down. We need to approach this from both sides of the aisle, both sides of the equation. We need to make them safer. We need to make them better. We need to make sure that the correction officers are properly staffed, properly trained, properly paid, have the proper benefits. We need to make sure that they have access to housing so we can recruit qualified New Yorkers to go into these careers. I know this is a tough job. I will be the first person to tell you I am not built for that job. And I respect what they have, but we also have to make sure we put people in there that respect the men and women within those facilities. The fact that I'm not surprised that as a son of a vet that the National Guard came into these facilities and handled them with respect, because the one thing they teach you in the military, respect in your bunks, respect for your fellow man and within your camp. And the fact that this demonstrates that with respect and with proper professionalism, that these facilities can be better ran tells us that we can do better as a legislature, as an executive branch. If those National Guards, those young men and women have demonstrated that we can run them better, then how can we say that we can't do it when they did it in a short amount of time with how much training? How much training do those National Guard people have? The only training it seemed that they did have was to treat people with human dignity. We have further steps to go. I want to thank the sponsor for taking the wishes, the 20 bills, and trying to put them together to come with something that is putting us in the right direction. But just like any test, just like any mission, the first steps are the hardest, but we have more to go. There's going to be newspapers. I'm sure the New York Post is going to come out against us and say, oh, we're being soft on crime. We're not being soft on crime. What we are doing is solidifying our humanity. We are making sure that we are holding ourselves accountable, we're holding ourselves transparent, and we are ensuring that those who are underneath our jurisdiction are doing their jobs. If we do not do that, then we are failing as a legislature. That means, as we move forward, this bill is the right step. I want to make sure that we empower the Correctional Association of New York to ensure that the correction officers are safer, that the incarcerated individuals are safer, that the staff members are safer, that their families can talk to the members in those facilities, the workers and those who are incarcerated. Last, we have to make sure that we come up with a more humane system. So that means with this being the first step, the next step is looking at earned time, second look, and timely parole and elder parole. If we do this and work together and listen to everyone's opinion, to everyone's vantage point, inside those facilities and outside, I do believe we can come together with a bipartisan approach that respects the wishes of our community, that respects the wishes of our constituents, and also respects the dignity of those who work within and those who are currently incarcerated.